first time I realized I actually had a gift, I had just been to a demonstration by James Van Praagh, and I was standing in line to get my CD signed. And as he signed it, I was the last person, and he signed it, basically he wasn't even paying attention to me, and he signed it, and then he looked up at me and he went, "Oh, you're a good medium." And I turned around and looked behind myself. Who are you talking to? I almost didn't know what a medium was. I mean, I knew what it was, but I never thought of it in reference to myself. So with that, it made me start thinking, and I started working towards it more. The things that I was getting in classes and when I would do mini readings with other people in the room started making more sense, and I started reaching for it because this person who was famous at this said I was good at it, so it gave me an oomph, gave me a boost to keep going. When I make an appointment with a client, usually I ask at that time if they want psychic or mediumship. And frequently they ask what the difference is. And that's when I explain that a psychic reading is when I connect to them, when I connect to their psyche, and I am tuned into their process, their past, their present, their future, and we work on issues that are going on specific to them. If they want mediumship is when I connect to their loved ones who have passed over, and that's a completely different connection. So psychic is kind of here, and mediumship is up here, so it's a very different reach, and it's a very different feel. So once we establish what they want, we go forward. Most often, if somebody wants a mediumship reading, they're going to get some psychic in there because there's always an issue that somebody needs to work on. There's always something that they need to hear, or some kind of thing in their world that they need to get validation for, and usually a mediumship reading will give them exactly what it is they're looking for, or that they need and they didn't even know they did. I always think that's a great question. I personally am clairsentient more than anything, which means that it almost drops into my brain as a knowing. I don't necessarily hear a voice, I don't necessarily see things, but there's just a knowing, and I feel it on the right side of my head. People say, is it coming from your spirit guides or angels, or who is it coming from? And to be absolutely honest with you, I have no idea. I know that it's a good place because I've never had anything but good messages, and the feel is good, and it warms me, and it always feels safe. But as to whether it's a guide or an angel or God or what, I can't claim to know. I haven't died this time around. I don't have those answers. And when I speak to spirits who are on the other side, they never address that issue. They just give information. They don't talk about what it's like in heaven. They don't ever volunteer that information. And so far nobody's actually asked while I've been in the middle of a reading. So if you want a mediumship reading, generally I ask that you don't tell me who it is you want to connect with. I would prefer to see who I connect with initially. And if I don't get it within, let's say I get 2 spirits and I still don't have the correct spirit, then at that point I may ask you to give it to me. But otherwise, the people who come through are people who are sometimes distant. They're not somebody you necessarily want to hear from or that you care about, but they're there and they have an opportunity because suddenly there's a medium and there's someone they know and they want to talk about it. They want to get a message across. They want to connect. And the most important thing in that connection is that I am able to give you evidence that verifies for you beyond almost any doubt that I've connected with your loved one. Therefore, I want to be able to say, I have your father here, and he's reminding me of the baseball game where you got hit in the face and broke your nose, or how he used to dance with you while you stood on his toes. I need to be able to give you information that you can immediately say, that's my dad. He had a big booming laugh, or your mom was quiet and she liked to read and she always wore her glasses down on her nose. It's my job to give you information so that you can walk away knowing that your loved one was here today and they gave you messages and validated that they're around you, all the time. I had had a teacher who said that if he wasn't being paid, he wasn't on. And I decided to adopt that attitude. But that doesn't mean that there are not times when I'm somewhere and I can feel someone standing near a loved one. Initially, when I first started, I thought I had an obligation to tell that person. And my teacher at the time said, okay, let's take that a little further. Let's say you've got a young mother and her 3-year-old daughter who passed away is standing next to her, and you want to share that with her, and you tell her and she bursts into tears and she can't handle it because it's still too raw. He showed me that just because I'm getting a spirit doesn't mean I have the right to butt in on somebody's day or time or emotions and give them the information. If they don't come to me and want the information, I will not go forward and hand it out. So yes, occasionally they come, but for the most part, if I'm not on and intentionally working, then I don't get it.